Good morning, my brother.
Greetings, Mr. Bobby's. Greetings, Mr. Neely Fuller. My question comes from a member from the book club, and his question is, Mr. Fuller, is why is it non-constructive for black people to name call, ridicule, and waste time going after other so-called sellout black people?
Because it doesn't produce constructive results. All you have to do is just look at the record. Name calling. Name calling. I call you a name, and then you jump out of the chair in the barber shop and whatnot. I mean, and say, wait a minute, what'd you call me? Now, the barbers all tell you, usually they're elderly people and then some young ones there. And they say, hey, you cats, hey, you dudes, calm down, whatnot. No, he called me a name. He ain't getting away with that. No, I don't take that. So here we go. But after all the smoke clears and the bodies, are carried out, what was the constructive result of the name calling and the reaction to the name calling? Somewhere today, somebody's going to call somebody a name that they don't want to be called. The code says anybody should be able to call you any kind of name at any time, under any circumstance, and call all your family the same type of names, including what you call your mother or father or stepfather or whatnot. All them names, include them in the batch. The code says anybody should be able to do that. And you shouldn't react to it at all. You're listening to it, and it shouldn't mean not anything at all, logically speaking. Why? Because whatever you do in reaction to it is not going to produce a constructive result, and you don't have to react. You can act like nothing is said at all, because for all practical purposes, you can say, hey, so he said it. So what? Well, he said that about your mother. Well, who is he? Who is she? My mother is my mother.
Mm-hmm.
There's no connection at all. None. Why would I make that connection? Why would I help somebody make that connection? So you can write it all over the walls. Graffiti, they call it. Under the elevated pass. Lindsey Jackson's mother is a B-I-T.
Yes.
Yeah. And you see it everywhere, all over town. And you say, I'm Lindsey Jackson. I got a mother. And that's what is written on the wall all over town by somebody, graffiti. They say, well, man, what does that do to you? What you take that. Have you gotten people out? Do you lose sleep at night? Have you got the police on this trying to find out who's doing that? No. That's got nothing to do with me. Nothing. No connection at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Lindsey Jackson, all right? And my mother is Hattie Mae Jackson. So what? Somebody's saying that about her.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They haven't said anything. Because the question is, who is the person saying it? Is that God? I'm not supposed to act like that's who that is.
Okay.
And even if God says it, so what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think God will say nothing like that.
I have no reference to that either. Before I let Swallow go, Mr. Fuller, Swallow, in your book club, Mr. Fuller, is one of the books that you recommend called Race Code War by Kahari Inaharo or something like that?
Yes, and
okay.
I was just looking at the cover of it a few minutes ago. And Race Code War, The Power of Words, Images, and Symbols on the Black Psyche by Kahari Inaharo. Race Code War. And I understand he has another one called The Race sex code.
Yeah,
or,
I think it is
something like that.
Yeah, sex. Yeah,
and
sex
I used
code.
to be on his program called Straight Talk Live, Radio 1, and I used to be on my own program. He had me on for a long period, in which you, Mr. Bobby, were the host.
Yes.
And that's how I was introduced to you, the Hari and the Haro.
Yeah,
now,
the compensatory
I'm not saying
concept.
I'm not saying I can't recommend people's books.
Right.
But I have glanced through his book, and I have it in my hand right now because it happened to be here on my desk.
All right.
And I have seen information in it that I think some people might find of interest.
Okay.
And so since he's talking about code, and I'm saying everybody should be writing code books. If you're going to write a book about solving problems, write a book about thinking about it and speaking about it and what to do. And it seems that there's some information in his book. I haven't read the book, but it seems like there might be some information in it. But there are quite a few books on the shelf, from what I understand. I've seen them and glanced at them in libraries and in bookstores of, why should white guys have all the fun or something like that, about how a black person can make money. So anything that tells you how to do something, not how to feel about something, that's important too, but how to get something done, whether it's written by a black person or a white person or any person, how to get something done. That's what black people in 2021 should be concentrating on. Get something done in the way of doing what? Solving problems that produce what? Constructive results.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. All right, so I'll thank you.